get to the next on our list is the micrometer. And we'll go through the parts of the micrometer. The anvil, which is here. The spindle, so this entire area here is the spindle. The sleeve, or a graduated sleeve. Has your marks on it. You also have the thimble has marks on it, and your basic frame. And micrometers come in, I've seen them in as small as 1/2 of an inch, but typically they come in 1-inch sizes, and they'll measure 1 inch from 0 to 1 inch, 1 inch to 2 inch, 2 inch to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. I've seen them up to as large as 36 inches, so it'll be 35 to 36. I suppose they come larger, but once again, you get too large with this type of measuring equipment and they become unwieldy. So we'll get rid of these marks. What you can't see from this top view, we'll see in this bottom one with, and I'll move it up just a little bit to get it more in center screen. Your spindle, or rather your sleeve, is graduated with marks at every 100 thousandths. So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, etc. And then if you'll notice on the bottom side, between the 0 and the 1, there is 3 marks. Each one of these marks is equal to 25 thousandths. And on your spindle, or your thimble rather, your thimble is graduated. One complete revolution is again 25 thousandths. So when measuring, you will first look at what is on the sleeve. So here we're past the 2, so we put down 200. Then we see how many marks we can see visible beyond the 2 in front of the thimble. We have 1, 2, so 25 and 50, so 0, 5, wow, that came out terrible. Zero, 5, 0, and then you look at the thimble and see what number on the thimble lines up with the line on the sleeve. In this case it's the 5, so then you'll add that. You add them all together, and the measurement on this micrometer would be 255 thousandths. Now on the top of it, now not all micrometers have them, but most of the newer ones do, you have what's known as a Vernier scale at the top. You'll have typically 10 marks on here. They're numbered 2, 4, 6, 8, so every numbered one is a 2, the ones in between are the odd numbers. And what you want to look for on your Vernier scale is which one of these number lines lines up best with the numbers that are graduated around your thimble. In this particular instance, it looks like this line here, so that would denote a 3. So in the case of these type of micrometers, you will add your 200 and your 50 and your 5, and then lastly you will add on this one 3. So you're able to measure into the 10,000ths of an inch. So measurement on this micrometer is 0.2553. So let's go ahead and get rid of these numbers real quick, and we'll do this next one. We'll work it together as well. Metric micrometers. This one here is a metric. Metric micrometers are a little more involved. First, you'll notice that there are two sets of graduations. The one on the top, the numbered ones, are each graduated in 1 millimeter divisions. The bottom are half millimeter. So, looking at this one, let's get these marks out of the way. Looking at this particular micrometer, you can see that there are 5, 6, 7, 8 visible lines. So is 8 point, because there's one on the bottom, 0.5, and then we look on the thimble to see where it matches up with the sleeve. The thimble is not quite to the 1, so it's 5, 0, and then at last you look up here on the Vernier scale and we're going to see which one lines up the most. Looks like the 4. So 8.504 millimeters. And let's do a couple more just so you get a good idea how these work. So these first ones are English micrometers. So looking at this number here, so we start with 1, 2, 3. So we add 300 thousandths. We know that immediately. There is no 25ths to count, so we add nothing. And then we look here, we see that there's 20, 21, 22, 23, not to the 24, so we can add 23 thousandths. And then lastly, at the top, we'll look at which one of these lines seems to line up the closest. It looks like this 3 does. So that means we will add 3/10. So 0.3233. See that? This one, another English micrometer, but this one does not have the it doesn't have the Vernier scale to get us into tenths. So we look at it immediately. First there's a 3, so you know we add 300. Then we look at how many lines do we see? We see 1, so we add another 25 thousandths. And we look on the thimble and we see it is at the 13 mark, so we add another 13 thousandths. Adding it all together, there's 8, 3. So we read this micrometer as 0.338 inches. And the last ones we're going to do in this section on micrometers, we have another English micrometer over here. Look at this one. Again, there is no Vernier scale, so it is just a direct, so it's just off of the thimble and spindle. We see a 2, so we start with adding 200. We don't see another one, so there is no 25 thousandths to add, no 50, no 75. So just these numbers here, 2, and it is 9 thousandths above. So 9 thousandths. So we'll just add 2.009, and that is your answer, 209 thousandths. The last one, again, is a metric measurement. This one is metric. You can tell because it has the offset lines. That's usually a telltale mark. So we see there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we know we immediately have 9 millimeters. We can't see a half mark yet. So 9.25. Because we're right at that 25 mark. It's in line with that. So 9.25 millimeters, or you could say 250 if you want to. So if you use these a lot, you'll get used to reading them. Eventually you'll get to where you just automatically add the numbers together, and once again you can get quick and accurate measurements with the micrometer.